Hello everybody, my name is Rachel and welcome to my channel Kalanati. Today I'm going to attempt this week's Booktube SFF Awards Babbles topic, which is favorite anti-heroes. This will be challenging for me because until this topic appeared, I had never thought about what an anti-hero is and if any of my favorite characters are actually anti-heroes. So I've waited a little bit to see what other people are talking about and to read up on the qualities of a hero and therefore the opposite qualities of an anti-hero. And I have a list of 6 characters that I think are anti-heroes and I do really enjoy them. So without further ado, let me get started. My first pick, which is also the only one that immediately came to mind for me for this topic, is Baru from The Traitor Baru Cormorant by Seth Dickinson. It's been a couple of years since I've read this book and I've forgotten some of the specific things that Baru does, but she's manipulative and deceptive and cunning, but she really uses people and hurts them. She's trying to take down an empire from within. She's rising up in the ranks of the empire and is going to try to take it down. So I think she's trying to do what she thinks is the right thing, kind of revenge, but the way she's going about it causes so much collateral damage. It's not what I would expect of your typical hero. My second pick is Mycroft Canner from the Terra Ignota series by Ada Palmer, which begins with "To Like the Lightning." This is a really obvious choice if you know anything about Mycroft because he's a serial killer. I'm pretty sure heroes aren't supposed to be serial killers. And there's a part of him that enjoyed killing people and torturing them and cannibalism and all of that. And he's not necessarily completely redeemed or rehabilitated. There's still a bit of him that thinks about it and might do it again. There's a viciousness and a violence inside of him, which he might unleash in whichever direction he's pointed, I guess. The other thing about him is he is certified insane. I definitely associate clarity and soundness of mind with a typical hero, and Mycroft is the exact opposite of that. But he's also fascinating because he's so unreliable. My next pick is Essun from the Broken Earth series by N.K. Jemisin, which begins with the 5th season. I think in some ways she's a prickly character who doesn't necessarily like or trust other people, and that would be immediately what makes her different from your typical hero. But also the fact that she has so many broken relationships. She's not the perfect lover, the perfect wife, or the perfect mother, and it's her broken relationship with her daughter that drives most of the book. She did some pretty terrible things to her children when they were young, and that has completely undermined her relationship with her daughter. But for many reasons, Essun is an unlikable character, and I think that makes her an anti-hero. Heroes are supposed to be loyal and steadfast, so my next pick is going to be Jadell from the Machineries of War series by Yoon Ha Lee, because 1, he's a mass murderer, and 2, he's a bona fide traitor. I'm not entirely sure what Jadell's end game is. It could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, and what he's working towards could end up making him a villain, like a sleeper villain, or he could be an anti-hero, and I personally am leaning towards the anti-hero side because I suspect some things that he's trying to do from the inside, basically. But definitely he's done some awful things. He's committed atrocities, and that is not heroic. My next favorite anti-hero is Millie from the Arcadia Project series by Michelle Baker. I actually watched Jane's video on this topic before I started filming this, and she has said exactly the same thing that I want to say about Millie. Your hero is supposed to be physically strong and capable, and Millie is the opposite of that. She's physically disabled, she has a mental illness, and she also has emotional issues, and it's how she works through those difficulties that makes her such an interesting character, but definitely not what you would expect physically from a heroic protagonist. And then I have one final pick, which is a bit of an odd one. It takes some explaining as to how I came around to connecting it to the anti-hero topic, but I thought it was a really interesting example. So I was initially thinking about heroes in terms of conforming to societal expectations, following codes of conduct, ethics, and morality, but mainly fulfilling a role within society. And I thought the opposite of that would be a nonconformist, somebody who goes completely against the grain. And that led me to thinking about this story, which is We Who Are About To by Joanna Russ. And I thought of it because the unnamed narrator, a woman, goes completely against a group decision in this. So it's about a group of people who crash land on a planet and they're never going to be rescued. They decide that they're going to try to build their own society there so that they have descendants, and eventually somebody will come along and ask what happened and they'll have an answer. There'll be somebody there when people come looking. But this woman says no. She refuses to pair off with one of the men. She does not want to have babies. She just decides that they are never going to be rescued, they are going to die, and she accepts that. A hero, I think, will do anything it takes to survive, and especially to help other people survive. This woman does not. She just gives up on herself and everybody else and waits to die. It's a really interesting and difficult story to get into, but it's a fascinating idea. So that would be my final pick, the unnamed narrator of this book. I suspect that many of my favorite characters are actually heroes rather than anti-heroes, so this was difficult to come up with examples for, but I think I have managed it somewhat. Let me know what you think. I'll make sure to link the Booktube SFF Awards Goodreads group down below, and also the thread for this particular topic if you are looking for other people who are contributing to the Babbles this year. Thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon, and until then, bye.